I was driving along the interstate and I looked over to my right and I got this incredible God moment. And in that God moment, I just started bawling in the car. I had no idea why. I looked over to the right and I saw like this desolate area. And I had no idea what it meant. And about 3 days later, I'm driving on the other side of the highway, and my wife says, hey, weirdest thing happened to me. You know, I was looking here 3 days ago, I was driving, and she had this incredible vision of a burned out wheat field in the same place. But we still didn't know what it meant. You know, and about a year later, I'm sitting here, you know, in front of this warehouse, and as I look around the neighborhood, God just started to put into me this desire to minister to the hurting, especially the teens. I would walk around and there'd be lots of teens hanging out, and it was like I could start to begin to see right through them. And this article came out in the newspaper about a 13-year-old girl who OD'd on heroin. She had some meth, marijuana, cocaine. She had everything, a cocktail inside of her system. And it came out of a mobile home park up here in Davie. And it just struck me, it just hit me. And I showed my wife and I said, wow, somebody's got to do something about this. Maybe we should be the ones. I mean, I'm not a church guy. I'm about the furthest away that you can from a church guy. I mean, I owned the business, and I thought that's what I was going to do. As a matter of fact, I remember in one of the churches I was at, the pastors talked to me and said, you know, you ought to get more involved in ministry and helping out. And I said, hey, my ministry's making money, giving money. That's what I can do. And then when God started moving me towards ministry, it got to a point where, you know, it's not that I didn't like the business, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. I just couldn't. It just kind of died inside of me because this new passion was born inside of me. And we just said, okay, Lord, what do you want us to do? What sacrifice? Because you've put this passion, you've put this drive in us. What do we need to do to satisfy that drive? And that's exactly where God took me. He took me back to that trailer park, that vision. And it turned out, and again, we didn't recognize it until 3-4 years later, that that's what God wanted us to do. He wanted us to impact those kids in that same community where that girl had died. I couldn't wait, you know, a year, 2 years to raise money to make this happen. It was like, these kids are going to go to hell. I can't do this. I've got to go ahead and do what I can. I had to sell my business. I had to sell my building. I had to sell my inventory. I sold it all, and I paid off everything I had, so that over the first 18 months of this ministry, we took in $0. As this ministry started to develop and started to grow, and we started to build a youth church and a youth outreach and a youth ministry, I realized that the talents that God had already given me to manage money, to manage an organization, to lay out a vision, those were all talents and traits that were needed even more for God's kingdom. And that's really the key. I mean, you just got to be sensitive to what God is saying and using those experiences, those talents, that calling, everything that He has and that He puts into you. Every experience is to lead you to where He wants you to go. And sometimes it's nowhere near where you thought you were going to go or how you were going to get there. But He'll take you there. You have to have that faith. I'd never been more happy, more satisfied with what I was doing, because I could see the impact every day on these kids' lives.